Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Toussaint Como. This is the channel where we talk about fragrances and arts. Today I am in a celebratory mood. I have reached over 500 subscribers, so I am just very excited that you have been following my channel and that you've allowed me to enter your space and your time and to share my art collection with you and talk about perfume. So thank you so much. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so and help me grow this community and help me be part of this very fun community. So yeah, thank you so much. So today I have decided for that special occasion to take on a topic that I find is very popular. A lot of you like to hear about it, and it is how to smell rich. Now, what's exciting about it is smelling rich is not about money. So I have 10 fragrances here that I would like to share with you. I think that there are 10 of my most rich smelling perfumes. So yeah, I'm really excited to share them with you. And in fact, I've actually come with 5 principles of what it means to smell rich, to smell like $1,000,000, because smelling rich, just like beauty, is in the eyes of the beholders. But from some observation and a little bit of research, I kind of have my own little theory about this and have come up with what I think are 5 ways to smell rich. So the first way to smell rich is to go for a fragrance that conveys something effortlessly classy. So the basic idea of this first principle, to smell rich by having something that conveys classic grace, is that those perfumes are not too sweet, that you are never ever near danger of over applying them. So the first one that I find really smells like class and money is Tiffany. And I'm going to have the specific notes listed in my description box. So I think there is a little arrow. If you're not used to YouTube, there is a little arrow. If you press that, you see my description. So Tiffany, to me, if you were to think about gold and diamond, that's really what this perfume would convey. It's just so sparkly. It's a sparkly floral musk, so it has personality to it. It's extremely fresh, and it has noble iris, which makes it a little bit powdery, and that always adds some form of classic elegance to a perfume. So, and then it also has the vert de mandarin note, which also makes it very modern. So the powdery is not just like vintagey looking, it's also modern. So this fragrance to me is the epitome of cool, collected femininity, and it's very versatile. It can be worn with some jeans and white bottom shirt and some heels to look rich. That always helps. And or you can wear it to a fancy summer wedding. So my first one to smell rich through this principle of being graceful it is Tiffany. The second one is Jour d'Hermes. So it's such a nice, confident fragrance. It's not even funny. So it's luminous. It has some herbal calming quality to it. So sometimes I even take it to bed. And so it's very uplifting. There is just no brainer with this one. It's not offending anyone, and it's just convey cool, collected, clean confidence and a rich type of vibe. like a Parisian type of rich vibe, Jour d'Hermes. The third one is, I've not spoken about this in my channel, it's Love in White by Creed. So this particular fragrance, Love in White, has a very nice story to it, because it was created with the idea of conveying a scent of freedom. So in fact, when it was launched, there was a tribute to it, and in New York City they had the whole Empire State Building illuminated by pure white lights. So this is a fragrance that combined essences from 5 continents to sort of create this statement about global unity and peace. So it's a flow of fresh fragrance. So it just typifies this idea of classic grace and richness. In fact, it is rumored that this is a fragrance that Michelle Obama would wear at time. So to the extent this is true, I can definitely see her rocking this fragrance, because this fragrance totally conveys this rich and smart, stylish and powerful women vibe of a fragrance. So this is my third one, and that falls on my first principle out of 5 principles to feel rich in terms of looking and conveying this classic grace to your style and your fragrance. Now, the second type of fragrance that would make you smell like $1,000,000, and that's like the second principles. They come from a house or where the perfumer tries to capture and convey a tradition of expensive things. So it's very deliberate. So you would have a fragrance that has leather in it, like smooth leather, you know, like Hermes Kelly Calèche. Believe it or not, I actually broke the bottle, so but I have the backs. But Kelly Calèche really is an example of a fragrance that can make that really smell rich and that can convey this rich vibe, in a sense that it is inspired from a tradition of expensive things like the Kelly leather Hermes bag, or you know, just essentially it was designed to be an evocation of leather worn to the skin, and that's gently tanned. And so it's also a very modern and sexy fragrance, I find. So clearly the nose behind this fragrance, like it is for several of the Hermes fragrances, is Jean-Claude Ellena. So he really knows what he's doing in terms of conveying this tradition of expensive, luxurious things. And so this fragrance is not pretentious, because it's actually a modern take on the traditional Calèche fragrance. So what's interesting about it, in the middle note you have the mimosa and the tuberose, so that makes it very sparkly, that mimosa note. And then of course the base note is the leather and the iris that gives it that rich, expensive kind of traditions of expensive things. So that's my third fragrance. Now, the third type of fragrance that will make you rich, smell like a meal, well, not make you rich. In fact, it may not if you're spending all your money like I am. But the third one that will make you smell like $1,000,000 are fragrances where the house and the perfumer tries to capture a certain lifestyle. So it's a little bit related to the second principle, but this one is specifically conveying a lifestyle of leisure. And I think Tom Ford, Eau de Soleil Blanc, most people who talk about it would tell you that it feels like a woman, you know, hanging on an expensive yacht. And I totally agree. It has all these expensive ingredients, And the whole thing just conveys something really light and sparkly and refreshing, and definitely this lifestyle of being on the yacht and so forth. And I also think a fragrance that I reviewed recently, White Fire by Tiziana Terenzi, sort of conveys this third principle of lifestyle of the rich and famous, because this fragrance is inspired after the Italian Alps and sort of trekking in the snow. So that's the type of lifestyle of, you know, being in an expensive ski resort that this fragrance conveys. So that's White Fire by Tiziana Terenzi. So the fourth way to smell like a million bucks is essentially going traditional. These are fragrances that are designed to convey or capture some form of old-time money, unadulterated, rich person vibe. In fact, a fragrance like Eau du Soir, which illustrates this fourth principle of going traditional to smell like a million bucks, this fragrance was made specifically for Countess Isabel Dornado, who is, from a very traditional nobility family that came from Spain. And this fragrance was made specifically for her, and she wore it for quite a long time before she decided to market it to the public. So this fragrance, Eau du Soir, is a aldehyde fragrance. And first, it starts with fresh citrus and flowers. And I want to talk about the flower. The flower is called syringa flower. And it's a Spanish night flowers that sort of radiate an intense scent at night, and which attract night butterflies to pollinate it. So this is why it's called Eau du Soir. It's taken after the syringa flower, which is a night flower. So this fragrance really starts really fresh with a fresh citrus, and it has jasmine. It has, of course, in the middle the syringa flower, and also some rose and lily of the valley, and the base is musk, amber, and patchouli. But because it is a aldehyde fragrance, what that does is create this incredible sillage to this fragrance. And that's like out of this world. Because for those of you who may know, aldehyde is a chemical compound that provides a soapy, waxy, lemony floral touch to a perfume formula. So it lifts things up. So if it's a fresh flow, it's going to make it even fresher. If it's a sweet type of flow, it's going to make it really light. And in this case, if it's a flow, it's going to make it airy, diaphanous, and hence you get this sillage. In fact, I wore this, and my husband and I passed by him, and he was like, this is what a woman should smell like when she passes by someone. So it's just a very impressive fragrance in terms of the rich vibes that it conveys. It's probably the fragrance in my collection that conveys the most richness of a vibe. Last but not least, the way to smell rich is for the perfume to actually be expensive and actually smell rich, because a perfume can be expensive but not smell rich. But there are some instances where I find some perfume are expensive. They are expensive and they smell rich because they have ingredients that make them smell rich. So it's not just a marketing fluke where someone tried to trick you just from the name making something expensive. So I think like a fragrance like Baccarat Rouge 540 is an expensive fragrance, but that actually, to the extent that you can and the sweetness of it, and that you like it, actually does smell very rich. Another fragrance that falls into this fifth principle of actually being expensive and smelling rich is one that I have a review on, and it's Caput Mundi. And it smells rich because it has very rich ingredients like very expensive oud and Bulgarian rose, and those fragrances really lend themselves to just being spruced up like I am today to celebrate my 500 subscribers. And last but not least, that's the 10th one that also fall on an expensive fragrance that also smell rich, is this line Le Gem by Bulgaria. I would have a review of them, but this one is their latest one, Area, and it has cardamom, vanilla, and frankincense. These are like the top 3 spices that are the most expensive. And when you put those ingredients in the hand of the perfumer that's really skillful, you in for a real treat and a very expensive smelling perfume. And of course, the whole experience, the whole bottle, the whole presentation is all about expensive and $1,000,000 look and $1,000,000 feel. So these are the 10 fragrances that I have, and they fall under 5 principles on how to smell rich. I thank you so much for spending this time with me. I have here Painting by Prefet Dufault, and I will have an addendum video where I talk about this incredible Haitian artist. And but I'm hoping you're enjoying this artwork for the time being until I tell you more about it in a separate video, because this one is getting a bit long. So once again, thank you for subscribing. If you have not yet subscribing, please join me in this community of fragrances and art. And I am enjoying so much getting to know you. And cheers to you, all of you. Until next time. Bye.